Hey, what's up guys? Jay Wallen here. I just got my brand new 2021 Hobie PA-14 with the 360 drive. Super excited. I've had it out a little bit. It performs as advertised. I think I'm really going to get some awesome use out of it, especially the way I like to fish. Shallow, around docks and structure and cover. This thing really excels in those tight quarter conditions. But today what we're going to talk about is a couple of things that I want to share with you that will make your 360 experience all that it can be. One of the most important things to understand about these drives is they're not like the old drives. They do require just a little bit of maintenance. Hobie makes it really easy. And today I'm going to go over that with you and show you exactly what kind of maintenance you need to do so that you can remain trouble-free with your 360 drive. So the first adjustment that we're going to be talking about is actually on the drive itself. On the bottom of the drive, there is a little port right here that's called the global adjustment. There's a little QR code on there, so if you get confused or you're not quite sure what to do, you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to a video that shows you exactly what to do. But what you want to look for is when you first get your drive, it's going to be a little tight. That's by design. It's supposed to be tight. As you use it, it'll loosen up a little bit. Now, I don't have that many hours on this drive, so mine is probably still technically in the break-in phase. But your Hobie drive will come with a 5/32 Allen wrench. And what you want to do, if your drive is getting a little bit loose, you want to go into this global adjustments port with a 5/32 wrench and just hand tighten it. Don't get it too tight. You don't need to go in there and get it crazy tight. If you do, it'll just make it really hard to pedal, and that's not really what you want. So get it fairly tight. It shouldn't be really loose. It shouldn't be really tight. Hand tighten it, and then, take it and work it out a little bit, just like this, and see how the resistance feels. You won't really know until you get out on the water, but if you get on the water and you think it's a little tight, pop your drive out and give it just a quarter turn increments on that, and you should be good. But you need to check that probably every, at least every couple of times that you're getting out on the water. One of the problems that you can run into is if you don't check that, your drive can get too loose, and then some other problems can occur with that. So make sure you're checking the global adjustment with a 5/32 wrench, and just keep it tight. It doesn't need to be crazy tight. You should be able to hold the drive like this and give it a quick spin, and it should be able to spin fairly free. If it's too hard to spin, it's too tight, and you need to loosen it up. But that's adjustment number one, the Hobie global adjustment on the drive itself. The next thing you want to check is what's called the idler cables. I don't know if you can see those. They're your two cables right here. Basically what they do is they carry the weight of your legs. They carry the force of your pedal strokes so that it's not transmitting all that force to the internal parts. These should be fairly tight. There's a great video that Hobie's done on it, but you should be able to push these cables in about halfway across the drum. If you can't get them halfway, then it's way too tight. And if they're going all the way over to the spine, it's way too loose. Mine is actually perfect. It's about right. It's probably still just a little tight, but we're still breaking this drive in, so that's actually good shape. Now, if you need to make an adjustment on your idle pulley cables, what you want to do is you want to drop this arm to the second position, and that will expose a nut right here, which is a 7/16 nut, and you will either tighten or loosen that nut based on what you need to do with your idle cable. And that's it as far as the drive is concerned. Those are really the only two adjustments that you'll need to make to your actual drive. The only other adjustment I'm going to talk to you about is going to be the clutch assembly, which is inside the boat. So let's get inside the boat and I'll show you guys the next adjustment. All right, guys, so we're inside the drive well of the PA-360, and there's two adjustments that you can make. One is to this rear screw and one is to the forward screw. This is your clutch assembly right here, and this rear screw basically keeps tension on this gear so that when you put your drive in, it meshes with the gear that's on your drive. The way you want to adjust this is tighten it all the way up till it's snug. Do not over tighten either of these screws, but snug it up and then back it off a full turn and a half. And that should be enough to keep enough tension on this that your drive meshes well. So recap on that: fully tighten and then back off 1.5 turns, and that should be good. The next adjustment that you can make is to this forward screw. Now that controls the clutch slip feature on this drive. That is a safety feature that is in place if you hit a rock or a stump or something like that. It allows this whole system to slip without damaging any of the internal parts. If you didn't have something like that, you could break. It's untelling what all you could break. So that's just a safety feature. What Hobie recommends is that you completely tighten this screw up until it's snug. Not too tight, do not over tighten. And then you back it off a half a turn. Then you can put your drive in. And if you're pedaling your drive and you notice that it's walking left and right, it's wobbling back and forth, give this another quarter turn to tighten it up. They recommend doing quarter turn increments because it really doesn't take much to adjust that slip. So if you need to tighten it up, do it in quarter turn increments on that bolt. And that's it. That's all the adjustments. All right, guys, just to recap on what all we talked about. Obviously, we talked about the global adjustment port on the bottom of the drive. That keeps your cables tensioned correctly, keeps the lower unit of the drive tensioned correctly as well. We also talked about the idler pulley cables. We talked about how to adjust those, what the tightness should and shouldn't be. And then lastly, we talked about the 2 bolts on the clutch assembly. The rear bolt holds the tension on the gear. That should be tightened up snug and then backed off a full turn and a half. The forward bolt should be tightened up snug and then backed off a half a turn. And then if needed for extra tightness, you do quarter turn increment. All right, guys, and that's it. Hobie makes it really easy to maintain and make adjustments to your drive. You know, no matter what it is in life, there's always going to be something that needs maintenance or adjustments. You know, whether it's your vehicle, you know, any other parts on other kayaks, there's always something that requires just a little bit of maintenance. And if you follow these steps, I think you're going to get the most out of your drive. You're going to get the most out of your boat. This is going to help prevent some breakdowns. It's going to prevent squeaky noises, stuff like that. So take the time and do your maintenance on these drives. It's not that hard. Hobie already provides you with most of the tools and equipment that you need. Hopefully this video was helpful. I know I searched for a long time on the internet looking for these adjustments and maintenance tips that we need to do as owners to these boats. Hobie has an awesome forum where you can go and get a lot of your questions answered. I'm going to drop a link to that forum in the description. I'll also put a card up on here so that you guys can click on that. But that's a great resource to use, not only for maintenance on your boat, but rigging videos, questions. The Hobie forums are an excellent source of information. I highly suggest that you guys go check some of that out. But I appreciate you guys watching. I just wanted to make this a real quick video. If you like what I'm doing, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Got videos coming out once a week for you guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next week.